Alrighty guys, we're back for Gruul Food, and this is a last Airbender standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, happy Thanksgiving! Alright, what kind of food shenanigans can we get up to? We got all four Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. 2 mana, 2/2. When this creature enters, create a food token. Whenever you sacrifice a food, you may search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you search your library this way, put this creature on the bottom of its owner's library, then shuffle. That could be some pretty decent deck thinning, honestly. So speaking of deck thinning, we also have Biotech Specialist dropping some landers, right, when it ETBs. Then also, whenever you sacrifice an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent, which is going to be pretty good when we start popping all the food. And speaking of food, I should have stayed on track here with all the other food cards. We got Tough Cookie making the cut as a 4-of, going to be a fantastic creature in here. And how about Bristlebud Farmer on the top end? 4 mana 5/5 with Trample is pretty good stats. When this creature enters, you create 2 food tokens. Okay, and when it attacks, you may sacrifice a food. If you do, mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them into your hand, and we have a whole bunch of permanents in here, luckily. So we do have all 4 Badgermole Cubs to pair beautifully with a Gene Pollinator, as well as all 4 Llanowar Elves too. So Gene Pollinator is going to be excellent in here because it's going to be a lot of other untapped permanents we can use, like all of our extra food tokens, to actually successfully use the Pollinator, right? Then we also have Thornvault Forager. Here's a squirrel you don't see very often. 2 mana, 2/2. You could tap it for a green source, or you can tap it, forage, and add 2 mana in any combination of colors. So I do think this is going to pair excellent, of course, with the Badgermole Cub, but then also it should be easy peasy to go ahead and forage away one of our foods. We do have more food packed in too. All 4 candy trails. Never underestimate the power of scrying too, let me tell you guys. We have some removal packed in, just a couple Torch the Tower. Is this enough removal? No. Well, maybe. It depends how aggro we think we can actually be, right? Then we also have a couple Song of Totentanz, which we're kind of treating as a top-end card in here. X and a red sorcery, you create X/1/1 black rat creature tokens with this token can't block. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. So this is what we're going to be potentially ramping into off of the Badgermole Cub. So yeah, kind of treating it as a top end. But then also, if it's not a top end, it's not going to be terrible to ramp into a Bristlebud Farmer and just drop like a X0 Song of Totentanz to have a hasty farmer or something. Okay, the mana base, we have 20 total mana. We have all 4 Stomping Ground, all 4 Thornspire Verge, and a couple Multiversal Passage, and hopefully 10 basics is enough for the deck thinning on the Cabbage Merchant and the landers on the Specialist. A whole bunch of honorable mentions, guys. There's a whole bunch of ways we could have put this together. I thought about Brave the Wilds. I thought about Ginger Brute, Food Fight, Weapons Manufacturing, Welcome to Sweet Tooth, Warmaker Gunship, Uraboroid, of course, right? Pyrewood Gearhulk on the top end could be pretty cool in here. How about Choco Comet or even World Souls Rage? Yeah, all of those could have made the cut and completely changed how the deck list looked as well. So maybe we'll have to revisit Gruul Food one of those different ways. Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, looks like we're getting right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? We got a lot of powerful cards packed in, but I think it's supposed to be jank, so I guess we'll see, huh? Oh dear, 1 forest in hand, both Torch the Towers in hand. Now Pollinator can help us get that 1 mana of any color for the Torch the Tower, and Pollinator can tap down Candy Trail if that's what we need to do, but this is a mulligan. There we go. Oh, much better. Wow. Okay, thank goodness. What do I even send here? Probably the Candy Trail, unfortunately. Even though that would be the forage on the Forager, we don't have anything to significantly ramp into anyways, so. Although the Scry 2 on the Candy Trail, it's like I always say, never underestimate it. Maybe I should send the Forager. No, I'll keep all the creatures. That's fine. That's totally fine. Surprise, opponent. It's a Llanowar Elves, but I promise. It's a little different. I promise. A mountain. Uh-oh. Alright, Thornspire Verge is not bad at all. So I guess we go like... How do we want to do this? I guess it doesn't matter. It'll all be the same outcome. So we can do this. Power up the Thornspire. Or the forest. I guess that works too. And then I guess, again, it doesn't really matter. I guess the second Badgermole Cub makes more sense depending on what we end up seeing off the top. I don't know, man. Okay, second mountain. It's a shot show off. All right. Let's not die next turn. That's a goal. We have an all right swing of 7 on the board. But I think we continue to dump our hand, right? Especially getting the... Well... How do we want to do this? We get a bigger swing if we pay the 2, but I don't really want to pay the 2. So I suppose we'll just swing for 5 instead, have 2 open. Well, at that point, we could pop the food. Gaining life isn't bad, but then also getting land on the board isn't bad. But we could also just keep the creature on the board too. Now I'm going to take the action because deck thinning is important as well. Then I guess we can play this out tapped then. Yeah, the Badgermole Cub is a little bit of a weird one to play with. I know a lot of people have been trying it out. Have you guys tried it out yet? Do you agree? It's a little bit like you gotta kind of change how your brain works with the mana that you're using. Yeah, the Thornvault Forager could be a really good target for the opponent if they don't think we're using the Cubs as ramp, especially since our hand is empty. Because the bottom ability could potentially come in handy. We're going to go ahead Firebend lessen one of the Badgermole Cubs. Get a swing in the air back down to 19. Alright, Biotech Specialist. Not bad, not bad. We can do the lander this turn too. We could swing with these 2. We do have the 4, of course, for the Forager, if that's what we want to do. I think we'll, do this for the Specialist. Then do Llanowar Elves for the lander. I don't know why I'm using the creatures over the 2 land here. Just kind of feels more efficient for some reason. Well, even so, if I plan on doing everything for the turn, including grabbing a squirrel. It's kind of hard to decide what to do, guys. I guess I'll grab a squirrel and play the squirrel over the lander, but again, I wouldn't mind deck thinning with the lander. Especially since Specialist is on the board as well. Yeah. I don't know what to do. I guess I'll swing with Badgermole Cub first. Okay. We go down to 13. I guess the lander does make a little more sense. But so does the squirrel. I'm just going to play the squirrel instead. I hope that's okay. Because I don't think Specialist is the target for their burn this turn. Especially if it's burn that can also hit our face too. Cunning maneuver. Okay, they get a clue as well. Might have to chump with the squirrel on the ground. Yeah, we could probably take 8 down to 11. Ooh, I guess we'll find out though. Firebending 5 is no joke. They can start with the card draw on the clue too. If they need more. Lightning Strike face. Like I said, the Biotech Specialist is not the target here. 11 on the board, 4 mana open. Can we win on the backswing if we're careful here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with the lander. Oh, we're going to be forced into a chump block, unfortunately, as they now have 14 on the board, guys. Wow. Yep, the chump is going to be the forager. Holy cow, we died. Oh, no. Well, I'd say I thought a little too hard about that one for sure. A good game opponent. Yeah. I guess that could have been anyone's game, but with the firebending student chilling, with all that extra firebending ready, and they're just able to dump their entire hand out, we were in significant danger, I suppose, as soon as the student actually landed. Now, one thing there is you can see why everyone's rocking the Ouroboros with the Badgers, right? Because you just dump your entire hand. You got all these creatures. Now time to boost them wide, you know? In that scenario, I do think like our Song of Totentanz and everything would have really come in handy. So, we'll see. Yeah, also in that scenario, I should have just done the lander too, just to poke a little couple extra points of damage through before we died. All right, good starting hand. Got some food. And Specialist is really good early on. Like an actual turn 2 Specialist is so good. The opponent does go first here. I'm actually tempted to not go Llanowar Elves, but I suppose if we see our third mana, a Badgermole Cub, I guess that pretty much confirms Llanowar Elves, right? For sure, for sure. Yeah, it would be a little silly to go Candy Trail now that we have the Cub in hand. Speaking of the Cub, hey, there you go. Very nice. Okay. Same thing. Same thing, but we need the red source for the Specialist, so we got to go this and this, right? And power up the Verge. And then red source and green source. Cool. Yeah, we've been seeing the Badgermole Cub everywhere. It's a very neat card. This is I think just the second time I'm playing with it. I feel a little bit more confident with the card. Yeah, with Bristlebud Farmer as a 2-of here, this is another one where Song of Totentanz would be crazy. Mana, not bad. Oh, Thornspire Verge. With 2 open, I'm kind of concerned about a counterspell, but... Well, it's not 2 open, it's 3, 4, 5 open, actually. 5 mana open. Lander token wouldn't be terrible to use here either. I think I'm going to start with the Bristlebud Farmer. And then decide on the Candy Trail or the Lander. If Bristlebud Farmer lands, of course. I guess if it doesn't, I think I'm definitely going to go Lander on their turn, probably. It's going to be Repulsive Mutation. Oh. Okay, that's concerning. Right, well, at least we have Bristlebud Farmer number 2 in hand. But... no great swings, of course. I guess I'll just keep Lander token open. Yeah, I guess so, right? Badgermole Cub number 2. Okie dokies. In this scenario, if they... okay, so they power up there. I guess it depends what's in their hand. But see, this is what I mean by Badgermole's like a strange one. Where in that scenario, using the land that they're not going to target... well, no, that doesn't make sense either. No, they did fine. It's a strange one to think about. Oh, Meringue River region. Wow. All right, let's see what they go ahead and target here. I think we're in significant danger. They go ahead and target a Badgermole. Cub and the Specialist. Not terrible targets for us, honestly. And we'll go ahead and use the Lander token to do some deck thinning here. With only 20 land packed in, I hope we don't see too many. With River Regent in the air, they still have more stuff to play, guys. I mean, just significant danger. So we go down to 16. Song of Totentanz. Cool, man. That's really good. Let's go ahead and do Badgermole Cub. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unfortunately, we won't have Specialist and Bristlebud with the Song of Totentanz too. Also, Bristlebud Farmer swinging into Moraine River Regent is actually brutal. No, we do. We have 7. Okay. Yeah, see, I keep messing up the Badgermole Cub's extra mana, right? So we have 4 Bristlebud Farmer. Then we have red source, green source, Specialist. And then Song of Totentanz, but swinging into Moraine River Regent is actually terrible, so we can save Song of Totentanz for next turn and hope they don't drop Moraine River Regent number 2. But yeah, if they didn't have a 6-7 on the board, ooh. Biotech Specialist on top, very nice. Yeah, if they didn't have Moraine River Regent on the board, then that would have been a nice hasty turn. And they got 6 in the air here, we might be forced into some blocks. They go Quantum Riddler, draw 2, because their hand is empty. Oh no, not our board state. Anything but our board state. Ooh, Ouroboros, and... Okay, no extra boost for it, but still. A scary, scary amount of everything. Oh, they're not swinging. They're saving. Wow. Okay, right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Song of Totentanz for X is 8, but they're nice and wide too. So we probably want to go Specialist first, because that'll be an extra 2 damage through from regardless. 2. We got 4 damage per artifact being popped. So I guess we pop all the artifacts and swing with the farmer, right? Who needs the Song of Totentanz with the second Specialist on the board? It's kind of crazy, dude. It's definitely a harder one to think through than I initially thought. Now, something that maybe we should have done first was swing with the farmer, actually. I guess we'll do sacrifice Candy Trail. Yeah, because I'm concerned they're going to just like bounce the farmer back to hand before we get the swing and the sacrifice. Which would definitely suck here. Oh, there we go. With the untapped mana, we can just do that instead. Still, if we didn't find the untapped mana, we could have swung with the Bristlebud and used the bottom ability. Thank goodness they did not attack last turn. I think we would have been forced into some blocks for sure. Especially with the swing in the air, but I do understand holding off for 1 turn too, because you got this huge board state, and it doesn't look like the opponent's going to be able to swing in, right? So like hold back, let the Ouroboros do the thing, boost that huge board state, but instead Specialist on top, thanks to Candy Trail, right? This is a hard one to think through, actually, guys. I apologize for my brain melting in these matches. Hopefully, as the video goes on, I'll do a little better too. I like the hand. We don't have the cub, but I don't think we need the cub, and I still want to showcase the other side of the, like the food side of things too, so. Yeah, with that untapped food, and the Bristlebud Farmer actually swinging, then we could have done 20 damage all in that 1 turn from the Specialists on the board, which is kind of crazy, dude. Kind of crazy to think about. And then if for any reason we didn't see the second Specialist, we still would have had this huge swing with the Song of Totentanz as well. Yeah, that's all pretty cool. Gonna be a good turn 2 here. And start with the Candy Trail. Don't need the Verge. Do we need the Torch the Tower? Golgari Desert and Mortuary. I'm gonna hope that we just don't need the Torch the Tower, and I'm gonna send it. Looking for more ways to just push damage through that instead. We go ahead and get Thornvault Forager down. Candy Trail's not necessarily we want to... It's not necessarily one we want to pop with the Forager. Wow. Biotech Specialist is really good. I think we just go like Lander Token instead too, but if we go Stomping Grounds, pay the 2, we do have 1, 2... Yeah, we have 4 mana for the Bristlebud Farmer this turn. I think that's worth it, right? That's totally worth it. We'll lose the Candy Trail, but this is a lot. There's a lot of everything on the board. Very fast here. 2 more food tokens generated. 3rd mana from the opponent. Badgermole Cub making the appearance everywhere. Holy cow. Vengeful Blood Witch. Yep. I'd call this a equal amount of everything. But I think Bristlebud Farmer, I don't know if they double block that, honestly. Unlucky Cabbage Merchant, there you go. There you go, that's fun. Unlucky Cabbage Merchant comes down first because we're going to do some deck thinning. We could do Lander Token for deck thinning too. But I think what we're going to do... 2, 3, right? Yeah. Maybe we can keep like the Forager back. We can swing with the Forager actually. Swing like this. Yeah, that little bit of extra damage could really matter here. Pop a food. Another Bristlebud Farmer. I believe that's what we take. More top end is fantastic. Get 2 through with the Specialist. Do some deck thinning with the Cabbage Merchant. I guess a Forest is fine. Alright, let's see where they block. Then we can keep the Lander open for their turn, I suppose. Unless they pop Specialist on the stack. Maybe we should just do it now, actually. Or whenever... Yeah, before they untap. Looks like they're going to take the 7. Yeah, but if we keep the mana open, they could play around specific things, whereas tapping out could be a problem. And then also if we need an emergency chump blocker with Llanowar Elves. So I guess it is better to actually hold off. I just don't want Specialist to die on the stack of the Lander before we get the 2 through. 3rd mana comes down. They got 5 total here. Vengeful Blood Witch. Still got 3 mana open. Blood Witch is terrifying, as that could be significant extra life gain. Sephiroth also coming down here, guys. We're in danger. This is great life gain for the opponent. Every one of their creatures that die, they go ahead and gain 3, and we take 3. And then also with Earthbending, it just comes back as a land, which is kind of crazy. This is the first Golgari Earthbending I've seen. Or that I've come up against. Alright, they're back up to 12. Hopefully that's the turn. Because I don't think I want them to swing. Another Specialist off the top would be really good. As we saw how powerful double Specialists on the board is. Go ahead and use the Lander token. Again, more deck thinning. This time I'll grab a mountain. Looks like Gingerbrute might have been on top there, guys. We see a Stomping Grounds, which is actually terrible news. The other Bristlebud Farmer generates more food. We could start with Bristlebud Farmer swing. They got... At this point, they should double block, right? But What could we see off the farmer swing? All right, I believe it's the farmer swing, right? I believe so. Let's see what they do. I definitely think they should double block here. We go down to 8. And we're going to grab Badgermole Cub. Sure, why not, I guess, right? Yeah. That'd be a silly one not to grab unless there was like a tough cookie. Did I call the tough cookie a ginger brute? Same thing. Same card, right? Right, guys? Yeah, no, the tough cookie is a card that we would not mind seeing here at all. They're going to take the 5. Really? I think we just won the game, guys. Because all we need is the extra food from the Bristlebud Farmer. Oh. But we need extra ramp first. Okay, hold on. I don't want to mess this up. So we're going to Badgermole, right? Now all of these tap for more and these tap for more. Bristlebud Farmer from hand. And then pop 2 foods. Using the extra ramp from the Badgermole Cub. This is crazy, dude. I don't think they have anything here, right? Oh, Zealot. Zealot's at instant speed. Oh, well, we still had a really good line of play, didn't we? So this still works, but I guess we're still in danger. Yeah, with Zealot, they're alive, dude. I completely missed that they could still do that. But are we gonna die now next turn? I guess we could. I guess. We don't have, we tapped everything. We could totally just play the Stomping Ground tapped, I suppose. The only reason we'd play it untapped is if we could also pop this food as well, but... oh! The Bounty Hunters come down. Whenever a non-land creature you control dies, Earthbend X, where X is that creature's power. Dude! Wow! Okay. So then they Earthbend... and then they pop the card that they earthbended. What a match, dude. This is a good one. And it's too bad. I got really excited, too, because I completely overlooked the Zealot, right? You guys are probably yelling at me. Down to 13. They're back up to 7. And luckily, it's non-land for the Bounty Hunters, so they could do it again with the Blood Witch first, and they're going to try to flip the Sephiroth, it looks like. Are we actually... are we going to die? No, because at least the Blood Witches are gone now, so now it's just the Sephiroth ability. But both Blood Witches that died, they got their own ability first. They're back up to 9 here, guys. What a turn from the opponent. I think we can still get there, but with the Sephiroth flip, too. That's not till the... That's 5 in the air. Okay. Okay, guys. With the... They are going to go ahead and sacrifice that as well, and they get to Earthbend. This is crazy, dude. Golgari Earthbending looks really good. Have you guys run into this one yet? Yeah, we're going to be forced into a block on the ground if that's what they do. Well, no, I mean, we got the Bristlebud Farmer still chilling. They got 5 here. Then they can, actually, they can sacrifice the Mortuary with the Zealot or the Sephiroth. Well, if they... I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to figure out if they had an amount of lethal here. It doesn't appear to be so. We have the block here, 5, go down to 3. Anyways, the Zealot could have popped the Mortuary. Sephiroth ability, right? Then Sephiroth swings. Good game, opponent. I'm not going to waste their time by playing extra cards. Ooh, Biotech Specialist. Okay, well, I guess I ended up wasting their time anyways because of the farmer's attack ability, but still, cool. I'm happy that we were able to get there versus that. A bunch of complex board states with the new standard, guys. And I mean, I don't want to really call it the new standard because I always say give it a couple weeks for the meta to actually settle, right? But everything's been leaning towards this little Badgermole Cub for sure. And Earthbending, I really like this bounty hunters with the sacrifice. That is freaking sick, man. I wonder if this is a 4 of on the top end here too. Anyways, I think they missed 1 point of damage on their turn, right? So they could have sacrificed Mortuary first, then sacrificed the Zealot to the Sephiroth swing. No, it was the same amount because the we had to block the Zealot. Yeah, never mind. I was just trying to think of a different order there. Whew, that was close, man. One more? Let's do it. Gruul Food, kind of sort of doing the thing. I think I wouldn't mind the third Song of Totentanz. I think that would be pretty good in a lot of these matches where it's not showing up. The match that it did show up, I guess it didn't really matter, did it? But I think in the matches that it's not showing up, I think it really could have done something. It's a fantastic hand, dude, and I do not mind at all paying the... Well, do I mind? Just start with Candy Trail instead, because then Badgermole next turn. Nah. Pay the 2. Pollinator. Then Candy Trail Cub can still come down next turn, or we could there's the Tough Cookie. I guess we actually have Badgermole, tap Badgermole with the Pollinator, then Forager. I guess that works, but Tough Cookie also works here too. Tough Cookie means that next turn we might be able to power up the food, which seems a little better to me than the Forager right now based on this hand. Plus I want to see the Tough Cookie do something too. As is Chocobo, and... Alright, Bossing Say. And... I gotta go ahead and keep it open, probably for some protection. Badgermole Cub, wow. Holy cow, dude. Well, we just got mana for days. I guess at that point we tap this Verge, power up a Passage, go Forager. Or Candy Trail, then we can do the Pollinator. Pollinator for 3. It's really hard to know how much mana we're going to have at any given time. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like I said earlier, too. It's hard to calculate when the Badgermoles are doing the thing because it's just so much mana out of nowhere. So we can actually play Candy Trail first. Let's see what we see. Another Forager. I think I'm going to send the Llanowar Elves. I wouldn't mind sending both, but I don't want mana off the top is the main thing. I'll send both. Here's why. We're probably going to draw on the Candy Trail this turn too. I'm going to swing with this one. Each of these is producing 3. So I want to do power up, food. And so we still have the draw on the Candy Trail then. 2, 3. Okay. Right. You have to tap the Candy Trail too. So we tap there. Okay, I apologize, opponent. It's definitely a hard deck list to optimize. Swing for 8. See what happens. Yeah, we could have powered up Candy Trail too, but Candy Trail doesn't have haste, so you gotta watch out for that stuff. I'm gonna take the 8. And then we're gonna do Candy Trail, sacrifice. Go back up to 21 here. We're fully tapped out. We find a Tough Cookie, which is not bad, actually. It's not bad at all. Okay. Okay. Now the goal is to just not die, which is looking good because they don't have like a Tifa on the board or something. A 3rd mana boosts the Sass's Chocobo. Badgermole Cub brings the Bossing Say into the equation, and if they tap it, they could get another creature on the board, but they kind of need some blockers too, for sure. Looks like it's going to be Bushwhack for one of our Cubs. That's pretty good too. But now they only got 2 blockers back, and they should definitely keep them, especially since we're at 21. Find a Stomping Ground off the top. It would have been a little better to see another non-creature artifact hitting the board at this point in the game, but yeah, with the second Tough Cookie, if you power up the food, I suppose, yeah, same concept as the Candy Trail. It just doesn't have haste, unfortunately. So Tough Cookie, power up the food. Still going to be a decent swing here overall. We don't really need the Badgermole Cub on the board if we want them to block there, but now that their Badgermole Cub's on the board, it's a little scary. Okay. They also have a double block into the food. That doesn't seem like a great double block for them at all, so... Right. We just swing with the food. We have a bunch of chump blockers. Hopefully that's enough to deal. They go down to 8. The goal's to win on next turn swing. As now, we go ahead and play Tough Cookie number 2. Then we tap the food off the Tough Cookie with the Pollinator. Like this. To get the Forager down. Nice and wide, we'll go ahead and get the Stomping Ground down tapped too. See what the opponent does, because at this point, they got 4 mana. If they drop their 5th and another Badgermole Cub, I mean, they could just ramp right into whatever the heck they wanted. They go Mossborn Hydra, play the land. Still got 2 mana open. Badgermole Cub. Oh, so... See, this is... Okay, right. So, if they did Badgermole Cub first... then the Bossing Say and the Forest would have both tapped for 3. And then they would have had 1 open forest, right? Am I thinking correctly there? See, it's like... The Badgermole Cubs, it's like... It kind of changes... how you play the game. So, it's hard to think through. Yeah, ton of open mana. Good double blocks from the opponent. Unlucky Cabbage Merchant is actually pretty good, but we're trying to... I mean, we're going to be forcing blocks here. I apologize, opponent. I am pondering, my friend. It's Tough Cookie, right? Tough Cookie, power up food. Then Tough Cookie, power up food. I mean, it's pretty much... It has to be. It has to be this route. Then a Fool Swing, including the Pollinator. And then we don't have the Cabbage Merchant for the turn. Yeah, including the Forager too. If we Full Swing, keep Forager back, we can still play Cabbage Merchant. I don't think that's worth it, because we're forcing blocks into the 4/4s, at least one of them. They got 4 creatures here. A math is for blockers' turn, but I think they might survive. But they have to block some of the 4/4s. They say, okay, let's get the Pollinator off the board. They say, okay, let's get a Tough Cookie off the board. Let's chump the 4/4. And this is 8 damage, 10 damage coming through, so they got to block the other 4/4 at that point. That is 8 damage. Nice. There we go, guys. Yeah, like I said, forcing blocks into the 4/4s. It's fun. This is fun, but wow, I was not expecting a complex gameplay from such a simple little deck list, honestly. So a little bit more practice with this one could have gone a long way for sure. We're about 40 minutes in. Let's end on a high note. Guys, did we see anyone bringing anything other than Badgermole Cub to the table? Wait a minute. Oh, we did. We saw mono red, right? Okay. Well, that's good, I guess. Badgermole Cub everywhere right now. Wow. And then you're looking at it like, a Thanksgiving food deck list. Why is Badgermole Cub here? I guess, you know, Badgermole Cub, good company on the holidays, right? There you go. Same thing with Biotech Specialist. Who doesn't want an insect scientist around their table? Or how about a plant druid? It's a good Thanksgiving, isn't it, huh? Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. This is actually a really, really neat card. Now it's silly because, like, you know, you kind of feel like you're losing value by shuffling it back in and getting a land out, but you haven't completely lost value because you got the ETB food. And then if you are utilizing other things on the board too, like specialist and stuff, you pop the food, you deck thin, you get the mana, you can use that mana, power it up with Badgermole Cub's Earthbending or something, right? So I really like Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. Might be a janky pick, but I'm not convinced that it's actually janky, and in the right build, in a food build, this could be pretty good, actually. I like the 4 of in here. I definitely wouldn't change it. Actually, I wouldn't change anything with the deck list other than kind of like picking through some of the honorable mentions that I brought up earlier. Maybe going up some 1-ofs or something. I wouldn't mind the 3rd Song of Totentanz again, even in that last game. Could have been pretty good, right? Going wide with rats is a similar concept to just hitting the opponent's face directly too, except they'll be able to block the rats, but they also got to block your other goodies as well. Tough Cookie definitely made its case in that last game too. It's a very good card, and you're using all that extra Badgermole Cub mana to go ahead and power all the extra foods or lander tokens or candy trails that you already established on the board as well. So in some of those games, it kind of looked like we were starting to fizzle out of the extra artifacts, but we still have a ton of things in here that's extra artifacts. So extra candy trails, food on the Tough Cookie, food on the Unlucky Cabbage Merchant, lander token on the Biotech Specialist, double food on the Bristlebud Farmer, which is kind of crazy. And then if you start swinging with the Farmer, that's a great way to sacrifice those foods. Most of the other things can just sacrifice themselves anyway. So this is neat, man. This is neat. I liked this a lot, and I think the mana held up really nicely too. I think the 10 basics was totally fine. There's going to be some games where maybe you get multiple Cabbage Merchants on the board. There's also this thing too where it didn't come up today with the Cabbage Merchant, but where you have Cabbage Merchant, you have 2 mana open, and you chump block an opponent's creature that they're swinging in with, then you sacrifice a food, you get the ramp with the merchant, and the merchant banishes itself back into the deck list. That is definitely a line of play, and it's a legit one too, as you're gaining 3 life, getting ramp, and taking a swing out of the equation. Unless they have trample, of course. But yeah, you guys know what I mean. Thornvault Forager, nice. Really cool. Did the extra forage come in handy? Nah, not really, but it's another way to maybe cheaply pop your foods if you have extra specialists on the board. And specifically in handy, I'm talking about the extra mana from it. The reality of the situation, if you're already getting 2 from the top ability with the Cub on the board, do you really need 3 with the Cub on the board? Probably not, unless you have multiple foragers, and again, you're using all that extra mana, just plugging it into the widest Song of Totentanz you've ever seen. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And then again, if you're not going wide with land, then Song of Totentanz X is 0. Still going to come in handy sometimes, especially if it's on the same turn as a Bristlebud Farmer, which just isn't unheard of. And at 20 mana, it's kind of crazy how much extra mana you end up getting from something like the Badgermole Cub. So how about the do not craft list? Yeah, put it on the do not craft list. It's actually pretty expensive for what it is, and then also you still want to wait a little while longer to see where the meta settles. It really does look like it's settling around the Cub, but we'll see, man. We'll see, because there's always like a bounce back of something. Someone comes up with something that breaks something else. All of a sudden, everyone's playing that one card that just obliterates Badgermole Cub or something, right? So really, really depends. Yeah, put it on the do not craft list. Let's see how expensive it actually is. Llanowar Elves usually going to be common there. Candy Trail. Wow, a lot of commons, actually. How about the rares? Uncommons, rares, mythics. You know what? It's actually not bad, especially when you take into account that the Gruul lands can be played in other deck lists, especially Multiversal Passage, which has just been like making the cut in 90% of my deck list, right? Excellent mana fixing. Holy cow. Yeah, it's not that bad. It really isn't, but still, put it on the do not craft list. Yeah. If you already got all the cards, I think this is a really fun one. I think you're going to need to practice with it at least a little bit. Maybe less than I need to practice with it, but it definitely was a brain melter, and usually I don't expect that from aggro. I expect the brain melters from the mid-range and the control deck lists instead. There was a lot to think through here, and a lot of ways to maximize value from the extra mana on the Cub, or just maximize value in general, or just calculate through extra damage with Specialists or trample damage with Farmer. There's a lot of stuff to optimize on every single turn with this deck, so. All right, guys, enough rambling, huh? Let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments, and happy Thanksgiving again. Thank you guys for being here for real. Y'all are champions. I will see you in the next one.